This is John Porai. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. This here is an article from the New York Post, and I want to cover it because I think a lot of people are focused on the trial, and a lot of the media is getting away with these smears without being called out. And this one is particularly bad. It's by Maureen Callahan, who's got the brain about the size of a peanut, maybe two peanuts. It's called Johnny Sinks to New Depths. Ha ha. Star's testimony, a disaster class in acting. And you notice she's got to put opinion up there because this is actually just a very crappy opinion. And you got to wonder, as you read this, why is the New York Post printing this? Okay, it's an opinion and people have got rights to opinions, but what's the point of printing this right now during this trial when it's just such an obvious smear piece? Go ahead and give him an Oscar already. After all, Johnny Depp's best performance is also probably his last. From Maureen Callahan. Now here's the thing. You could tell it's obviously not acting because Johnny is thinking about what he says. He's thoughtful. He's careful. And he even has a little trouble remembering things here and there, which is understandable. It was a long time ago, and he does a lot of things. When you act, you remember your lines and you don't have to stumble through it so bad. If it's an act, you got it down. But I guess Maureen would say now he's just acting like he's got it down and he's forgetting. So, I mean, what isn't an act anywhere? Taking the stand on Tuesday, Depp's hours-long testimony, delivered in a soft, often halting voice, sounded nothing like a strident defense against spousal abuse. Instead, Depp depicted himself brilliantly as a confused, sad, gentle soul who somehow stumbled into global fame and ungodly wealth. As if the 0.0001% of people who attain worldwide recognition and fortune of more than $600 million get there by accident. Alright, let's stop right there for a second and think about mathematics and probability and fame because Maureen throws in a random number here. Now, here's the thing. There's hundreds and thousands and millions of people in this world trying to get recognized for something. If you've got talent, that definitely helps you. If you've got a lot of talent, that really helps you. But with the sheer amount of people that are trying to get famous, trying to make a name for themselves, you do need some luck. It's mostly talent, obviously. However, you can't say there's no luck whatsoever. The pyramid only goes so high, and there's a very, very, very small amount of people who can make it. Like 0.0000001% who can make it. So to actually get your foot in from, doing normal jobs and things like that, like Johnny said he did, that does take a little luck, yes. At one point, Depp even stood up in the witness box to reenact his mother's suicide attempt. Can you imagine selling out a parent's lowest moment for public sympathy? Yes, I can. Here's why. The thing is, you don't actually know what his mother would be feeling about him doing that on the stand. Only he knows that. And I know this because I had a mother who passed away at a young age, and only I know what she would say to me right now as far as what I should do with her memory and her honor, whatever you want to say. And what she would say to me is, you do whatever you have to do to keep yourself happy. If it was my mother and I was being accused of something I didn't do and I was on the stand, she'd say, yes, son, get her. You can use my memory any way you want. We have to prove your innocence. My mother wouldn't be like, don't use my memory on the stand, don't take the risk. She'd be like, hey son, I'm already gone and, do whatever you gotta do. Now, that's what my mother would say. I'm not saying that's what your mother would say. That's what my mother would say because I know her very well. And Johnny knows his mother very well. So, I'm sure he thought about things and he made that choice. He knew how she would feel about it. She then goes on to make this argument that Johnny Depp is part of this gang of dying stars or diminishing stars in Hollywood, and that he's, I guess, worried about the future and fame and things like that. So he's got to try to sue for money because he can't get it another way now because stars are dying. Now, let me say this, there is some truth to that because we've got YouTube, we've got Instagram, we've got other social media where people are taking attention from these stars, and also these stars are showing us their true colors, and they're less popular because of that. However, that's not how it is in Johnny Depp's case. Johnny Depp goes on Instagram and in like 2 days gets 12 million followers. There's no struggle for him to stay in the spotlight. The only struggle is these accusations. She goes on to say Julia Roberts is now on Stars, not HBO or Showtime, not even Netflix. But you know what? Julia Roberts is not Johnny Depp. No one is. Julia Roberts was an okay A-lister for about a decade. She really, had her prime time for like 5 or 6 years or something. No comparison. Maybe more. I don't know. But she's no Johnny Depp as far as her career. So once again, someone's trying to argue against Johnny using all this roundabout outskirt information to try to build some kind of case and some kind of point against him that doesn't actually have anything to do with Johnny directly. Then she says there aren't many genuine movie stars left. Only Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Sandra Bullock. And she goes on to say that Pitt, unlike Depp, was smart enough to litigate his divorce behind closed doors, but Brad Pitt didn't lose movie roles in two huge franchises and have his reputation destroyed. Brad Pitt was just kind of moving on normally. Angelina Jolie and him got into some legal stuff about wine and their kids, and that doesn't actually really have a narrative that affects the society. The narrative that affects society with Johnny is that men can be abused too. So Brad Pitt had a really, really different situation. So to put it out there like it's even Steven is what someone would do if you have like the brain the size of a peanut. Or two peanuts, maybe. Then she puts down Johnny for talking about his background, talking about that he admitted he had an affair with Heard, which, if I recall correctly, he said was like one kiss or something in a shower or whatever. It wasn't like some big, long going every night type of thing. And she says he droned on for hours and hours. Well, I got another thing to say to Miss Maureen here. One more thing for Maureen to think about is, being that this case is Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, you would think that Johnny Depp would talk a lot about Johnny Depp because the case is about him. So for him to talk for hours about something the case is directly built on, I would say makes sense. But I don't think the New York Post is about making sense necessarily. Then she goes on to say, little wonder, much of his testimony sounded like an extended masturbatory, something that Maureen's very good at probably, inside the actor's studio episode, Depp talking in great detail about his early career, where he studied acting, how he created Edward Scissorhands and Captain Jack Sparrow, his diet and exercise regimen for Donnie Brasco, his favorite writers and musicians, and his love of old blues. It never seemed to end. You know what doesn't seem to end? This article. He quoted himself in an interview he gave to TV Guide in 1989. Oh no, that's horrible. And then she criticizes him for mentioning Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. But the thing is, he made these movies and the themes relevant to what was happening in the case. Because Johnny was accused of drug use, he explained a few things about Fear and Loathing and how it wasn't actually real. He also said that he played Jack Sparrow better than the writers can write Jack Sparrow, which ties in to the defamation and ties into why they probably wouldn't get rid of him. So it's not like he mentioned random movies like Transcendence or Nightmare on Elm Street, he mentioned movies that had relevant themes. The charm offense is her final stab at this. The narcissism was mind blowing, but the performance, wow. She criticized him saying the line about the pronoun use, which is very normal because everyone's pretty confused and scared to use the wrong pronouns because you get attacked if you don't. So that's, pretty standard these days. And worst of all, she mentions all these worst curse words used with even kind of a little triple X reference here. Of course, she mentions the flappy fish market. But I guess that's the New York Post has to do these days to get clicks and people reading. Not news, not proper analysis of the law, what could possibly happen, what's going on with the trial, legally. But they need to use these words I can't say without actually getting this video in a little trouble. You guys, let me know what you think down below. Doing shout outs, special thanks, things like that. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't consider it and you don't subscribe, I guess I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. We're done for now. See you next time.